Hey, thanks for coming back. Got a lot to show you. So here today, what we're going to do is we are going to be logging book number 2 for the Read What You Own graphic novel challenge. And I'm going to show you what I've been working on lately on my own personal time. And we're going to start with that actually. A big part of this challenge for me, at least, is what I want to do is log all my books, because sometimes you just wonder where something went. You swear you had it, you read it once, and you read it even twice, maybe, and it's just no longer in your collection. Maybe it's because I've moved a lot in the past 3 years. Maybe it's because I've just been moving these books to and fro every waking moment. Maybe you just lose something sometimes, but I plan on logging them now to making sure that I can see, oh yes, I should have had that. Where'd that go? I know there's websites for these, and you could use the website, make it a little smoother on you. But I don't know, I really enjoy like logging things with like pen and paper. Makes it feel like you're kind of doing it yourself. Maybe you can work your own like kind of organization, let your brain work the way you want. I have the first 200 books squarely put down here of all of these. I'm not even done. I got 200 to go. So what that means is with the 2 books that I've already read, I have 198 plus books to read still before I can buy a single one. Oh, this is going to be a challenge. So what was the second book that I actually sat down and read? And it's kind of funny because I know I said I wouldn't take this in like chronological order, but I had read this right as I was like thinking about doing the challenge, so I'm just gonna lump it in. Bone, book 1, Out of Boneville. And I love this story, and let me tell you. The funny thing about Bone Out of Boneville is that I never read this one until I was an adult. I read the book 2, or The Great Cow Race, and everything after that. I skipped around in the books a lot, so I had no idea what I was reading half the time, but I loved it anyway. And so until I was an adult, I never got to read the first actual story. And I gotta tell you, it lives up to expectations. I love this. An interesting thing about my copy is that it is an old library book that I had purchased off I bought off Amazon, because obviously you did, but I didn't really need the best copies, and I wasn't trying to like spend a whole lot of money. So I was like, hey, just give me a decent copy from just a seller. And I got this one from a Kansas library. Look, it even has people who checked it out, and the place and where it was where it was an elementary school in Hayesville, Kansas. So if you're from Hayesville, Kansas, thanks for the book. I really appreciated it. The interesting thing about reading this now is after I read Rose, the prequel book, it brings so much more like background to this first book that you didn't get until like marginally recently, because that book came out way past this one. And so I got to give this one credit for the fact that it really just, it didn't need to be built up to. It just was, here's the phone boys. There's Phone Bone, Phony Bone, and Smiley Bone. They all ran out of Boneville, and now they're here because a giant thing of locusts just swarmed them. And there's a lot of fantasy stuff at play here, but it's easy and understandable to consume without having to feel like you're missing things, or you have to go to a Wikipedia page, or you don't have to like go ask somebody, hey, does this make sense? Go on Reddit. Like, it's very accessible, and I love every bit of this story. Something also that I picked up on was there's a lot of time progression in this book. You don't realize it until like you're in it, but like there's a moment where Smiley Bone and Phone Bone and Phony Bone, they all like finally get together, and they're just all cheering and having a great time because they haven't seen each other all in single one bound in months, apparently, because Grandma Ben literally goes to Lucius and says, listen, let them have their thing. They haven't talked to each other in months. It's like, imagine if you were stranded off on a place with just 2 other family members, then you get cast aside from these family members for months, and those were your only form of contact, and now you just don't have them for months, and you finally see them again, and they're working in a pub, or they're working at a farm not that far away from you. It's stuff that you don't really feel in like modern life these days, or I mean, this is a fantasy book about blah 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 phone people, but it's just like, I don't know, what would the emotion be with that? Either way, am I happy that I started with the Bones series? I emphatically yes. And this is bringing me all the joy I've had with every time of reading the stories over and over again. And this is exactly the reason why we're doing this challenge here, is to relive and re-enjoy, or just enjoy some of the things I already have without feeling the need to pay copious amounts more money for books that I'm not going to read yet because I'm not even caught up on the ones I have. So, the Read What You Own graphic novel challenge, book number 2, Bone, Out of Boneville. It is a fantastic story that everybody should read, and if you haven't got it to yet, please do. If I remember right, actually, weren't they going to make a TV show on like Netflix about it? And I think they got canceled. Part of me thinks that it's a bit dark to thank God that it got canceled, but I really don't think they would have done those books right. And if they revisit it, I just don't know if it's going to be as good or stack up to the books entirely. So yeah, book number 2, over 200 more to go.